Hello, good morning students. So in the last lecture we have studied a physical quantity, moment of inertia. So what we have studied, the moment of inertia means mathematically it comes equal to I is equal to summation mi ri square, where m is the mass of each particle of the body, and what is the r? R is the distance of that particle from the axis of rotation. So if we will add up the moment of inertia of every particle, then we will get the moment of inertia of this whole body. Okay, so it is equal to I is equal to summation mi ri square. But what's the physically significance of this moment of inertia? What do you exact means? See, in last year we have studied the inertia, that is translational inertia. So inertia means it is the physical quantity which tells us that it gives us the resistance applied by this body, okay, to overcome or to oppose the change in its state. Okay, if the body is in a translation motion, then the ability of that body to oppose the change in that motion is called as inertia. Now in case of moment of inertia, it is also known as rotational inertia. So what is rotational inertia or the moment of inertia? It is the ability of a body, or you may say it's the resistance applied by the body against the change in its state of rotational motion. Okay, so if the body is in rotational motion and the body stops, it happens because of its inertia, but here the inertia is less. When it will stop, it depends on its inertia. Okay, if it has more inertia, then it will maintain its motion in the rotational motion only, and if it has less inertia, then it will stop after a few time in its rotational motion. Okay, so we have studied mathematically it is equal to summation mi ri square. Now we have seen the moment of inertia of a ring also, and it has come equal to mr square. So our today's topic is to find out the moment of inertia of a uniform disc. Okay, so already we have found of the ring. Now let us go to the moment of inertia of a uniform ring. See here, uniform means all where this mass is distributed equally. Okay, now this disc, the disc consists of the number of concentric rings. The disc consists of number of concentric rings, and the radius of the rings goes on increasing as we go outward, right? So it starts from 0 to capital R. Okay, so let us consider one disc which the mass of this whole disc is capital M, and suppose this disc is rotating about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the plane, and the radius of this disc is equal to, let it be capital R, and let the surface density of this disk. Surface density means the mass per unit area of this disk. Let it be sigma. So here the mass per unit area of this disk will be sigma, and sigma is equal to mass upon area. So area for this disk will be pi r square. So let it be sigma is equal to m upon pi r square. So now let us consider, we are going to consider here the small ring. Okay, this disk consists of many rings. So out of that, we'll consider a small ring and we'll find out the moment of inertia of this ring. And if we will integrate, the moment of inertia of this ring, will get the moment of inertia of this whole disk. Right? So let us consider a small ring which is at a distance of small r from the axis of rotation. Let dm be its mass of this ring and let dr be the width of this ring. Okay, now we have to find first the moment of inertia of this ring. So to find the moment of inertia, which physical quantities you should have? The distance of this ring from the axis of rotation, that is a small r, which you already have, and the mass of this ring. Okay, so let us find first the mass of this ring. So to find the mass of this ring, we know that surface density is equal to mass per unit area. Right? So by using this surface density, we can find out the mass of this ring. How? See, and for that we should know the area of this ring of width dr, having mass dm and width dr. Let us find the area of this disk. Area of this ring. So see how we can find the area of the ring. Now the area of the ring will be equal to its circumference into the width. Area will be equal to circumference into width. Now here the circumference is equal to 2 pi r and width is given dr. So the whole area is equal to 2 pi r into dr. Okay. Now the surface density. Okay. So surface density sigma is equal to mass per unit area. So the mass of the ring is dm and upon area. So how much area we have found? It is equal to 2 pi r into dr. Right. So surface density of the ring is equal to dm upon 2 pi r into dr. Let us rearrange this. Then we'll get the mass of the ring, and the mass of the ring dm is equal to sigma into 2 pi r dr, where sigma is surface density of the ring. Okay, so now we got the mass of the ring. So we can find out the moment of inertia of the ring at a distance r from the axis of rotation. And it comes equal to, let we call this as IR, means moment of inertia of ring. And it comes equal to mr square. So here the mass is dm and r square means here the distance from the axis of rotation is small r and it's square. So IR is equal to dm r square. This is the moment of inertia of the ring. Now let us find out the moment of inertia of a disk. To find out the moment of inertia of a disk, what we have to do? We have to integrate the moment of inertia of this ring from r is equal to 0 to r is equal to capital R. We'll see here again. See, you can see that the capital R, the maximum distance is here capital R. So if we will start from 0, that is from the center, and the small rings if you keep on adding, so it starts from 0 to capital R. So number of rings we will get. Okay, so moment of inertia of a ring, integration of moment of inertia of a ring from r is equal to 0 to r is equal to capital R will give us the moment of inertia of the disk. Okay, so let us integrate. So what we'll get here? The moment of inertia of a disk is equal to integration from 0 to capital R I R. Okay, so here the integration 0 to r. Now let us substitute the value of IR. So how much we have found the moment of inertia of a ring? It is dm r square. Let us substitute in this integration. So we will get here dm r square. Again, let us substitute the value of this dm, that is the mass of the ring. And how much it is equal to? Sigma into 2 pi r dr. So integration from 0 to r sigma 2 pi r dr into this r square as it is. Now in this case sigma 2 pi, these are constants. So we can take this constant out of integration. So here we'll get 2 pi sigma integration from 0 to r, and this r into this square. So it will become r cube dr. Now let us find out integration of r cube dr. So by using the formula for integration, we can find out the integration of r cube dr. It comes equal to r raised to 4 upon r. So how we can write this? See, so as it is the constants, it is equal to 2 pi sigma and r raised to 4 upon 4. Limits 0 to capital R. And if we will substitute these limits in this integration, we'll get the answer capital R raised to 4 upon 4. Instead of this small r, you have to substitute this variable capital R. Okay, and when minus the lower limit, that is 0. And if you will substitute r is equal to 0, it becomes 0. Right. So the only term will remain capital R raised to 4 upon 4. So it is equal to what we'll get? 2 pi sigma into r raised to 4 upon 4. Now here, after integration, this sigma is the surface density of the disk. This is the surface density of disk. So already we have found the surface density of the disk. It is, again, density means mass per unit area. Right. So mass of the disk is capital M and area is pi r square. So let us put the value here of sigma m upon pi r square into r raised to 4 upon 4. So after cancellation, pi get cancelled with pi, r square get cancelled with this r raised to 4, and the square will remain. 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4. So what will remain here? M r raised to 2, that is r square, and divided by this 2. So how can we write? 1 by 2 mr square. So the moment of inertia of the disk after integration, how much we'll got? Half mr square. So this is a moment of inertia of a disk about an uniform disk, about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the plane. which is equal to half mr square. Okay, where r is the radius of the disc and capital M is the total mass of the disc. So this is the moment of inertia of a uniform disc. So as we have found the moment of inertia of a ring, we have found the moment of inertia of a disc. In the same way, at a different axis and of a different geometrical shape, we can find out the moment of inertia. Okay, so the formulas for the different shape, it is given in the textbook. So all of you go through that. Okay, so you will understand. So one more physical quantity we are going to study today. So I hope you might have understood this moment of inertia. So moment of inertia depends on two things. First one, its mass, and one more thing, not only on the mass, but it also depends on r. Okay, what is this r? R is the distance from the axis of rotation, right? So that distance will give you the distribution of the mass about the axis of rotation. So how the distribution of mass about the axis of rotation will differ the moment of inertia. Okay, that we'll study now the next, even though if the mass is the same. And that physical quantity, new physical quantity, which will define the distribution of the mass, we call it as radius of gyration. So let us study the radius of gyration. Okay. See, what is the radius of gyration? So if you will consider one object, it is in a rotational motion about this axis. Okay. Now this moment of inertia of this object, how we are going to find out? By adding the moment of inertia of every particle, okay, about the same axis of rotation. That is summation mi ri square, where r will be the distance of these particles from the axis of rotation and small m will be the mass of these particles. Okay, so in this case, somewhere on this object, you will get one particle or one point at which the mass, whole mass of the disk after addition of all the objects, so all the particles, will be same as that of the mass of this particle A. So the whole mass of the disk and the mass of this particle A will be same. So the distance from such a point and the axis of rotation, the distance from the axis of rotation and the point on that object at which the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. Such a distance is known as radius of gyration K. Okay, so radius of gyration is its effective distance. Okay, this distance which will give you or which will show you that where at which position the mass of the body is distributed. Okay, so what is the radius of gyration? It is the effective perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation and it is between the axis of rotation and a point at which the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. So therefore, the moment of inertia of point A Suppose I want to find the moment of inertia of the point A. According to the definition, it will come equal to I is equal to mk square, right? And if I want to find the moment of inertia of this whole object, then it will be equal to the addition of all these points, right? So, moment of inertia of point A is equal to the moment of inertia of the whole body. Okay? So, such a distance k, this k is called at that time radius of gyration. Okay? So, this moment of inertia of any object also depends on its radius of gyration. And this radius of gyration will give you the distribution of mass, how the mass is effectively distributed. So, to clear this idea, let us study one example. We'll take one example. So, see here, you can see one ring. Okay, we'll take as a ring one cycle. Okay, see, the wheel of the cycle is like a ring only. So, we'll take one ring, then one disc. Okay, consider one ring and one disc. So, in this case, and this both, ring and disc, both are rotating about the same axis. Okay, upper side ring and lower side disc. Both are rotating about the same axis, and the axis is passing through their center and perpendicular to the plane. Okay, like this. On this side there is a disc, and on this upper side suppose there is a ring, and both are uniform ring and uniform disc. Let the mass of this ring and mass of the disc is same, that is equal to capital M. The radius from the axis, see the distance from the axis of rotation, this radius capital R will be also same. This distance is R and this distance is R. Okay, mass is also same of ring also and of disc also. Their radius is also same, R and R. Okay, and if I will apply here the the brake, suppose I want to stop their motion, they are rotating, and if I will apply here the brake, then what will happen? The disc will stop first. Okay, and this ring will resist my brake. It will rotate, it will take a more time to stop. Means it will remain in rotational motion for more time than this disc. Okay, so it has a more ability to resist the external force, and it has less ability. So, moment of inertia of a ring is more than moment of inertia of disc. Why? Because here the radius of gyration of ring is maximum than the radius of gyration of the disc. How? Let us see. Okay, we'll find one expression. As we have seen, both have the same mass. See here, in case of ring, okay, we know that in case of ring, the moment of inertia, it is equal to mr square, which we have already found. Okay, and if kr is the radius of gyration for the ring, then moment of inertia for the ring, it is equal to mkr square according to the definition of radius of gyration, because the moment of inertia of the whole ring is equal to moment of inertia of the point having the mass capital M. Okay, if we will compare these two, then what we will get? Kr is equal to R. kr square is equal to r square. So kr is equal to r. So radius of gyration of the ring is equal to r. Now in case of disk, we have found in case of disk, the moment of inertia is equal to half mr square. Okay. But according to radius of gyration, the moment of inertia is equal to m kd square, where m is the mass of that point and kd, that is the radius of gyration of the disk, square. And we will compare these two. Then what we will get? Kd square is equal to half r square. Mm get cancelled. So kd is equal to, taking square root on both the sides, r upon under root 2. So from these two values, what you can conclude? That the radius of gyration of a disk is less than the radius of gyration of ring. Okay. So in case of ring, the mass is distributed at a large distance from the axis of rotation, while in case of a disk, the mass is distributed from the center, means from the axis of rotation, to it starts distributing from 0 to capital R. Okay, we'll see once again this diagram. If you will see, the mass, the whole mass is here at a distance r from the axis of rotation, maximum distribution. Here all were the empty space, right? The space is empty and is some lines, these are having very negligible mass. So maximum mass is distributed at a distance capital R from the axis of rotation, while in case of disk, it start distributing from the center, from the 0 up to capital R. Everywhere it is distributed. Okay, so this radius of gyration k will give us the effective distance at which the mass of the body is concentrated, okay, or mass of the body is distributed maximum. Okay, so I think you got the idea that why the ring stops, disk stops earlier than ring. Okay, so as the ring takes a time to stop, it has a maximum moment of inertia than the disk, and it has maximum radius of, large radius of gyration. So as the radius of gyration is large, the moment of inertia is maximum. Okay, so we'll study some more examples of this afterwards. So in your bikes, if you have remembered, nowadays to stop the bike immediately, the disc brakes are introduced. Okay, so think over that. Okay, bye.